they went to get him and bring him back to Fitchburg. They put him up at Fred Lawrence's house at 51 Brigham Park, which is, you know, if you head down Fitchburg, Summer Street, take the first left, which is Holt Street, go up Holt Street, you're up to Brigham Park. That's where Fischer spent 2 nights in Fitchburg. Now, on the morning after the Simul, Fischer took the bus from the bus station right down Fitchburg, and took the bus to Hartford, Connecticut, because he was giving another exhibition that evening, Tuesday evening, in Hartford, Connecticut. All right, so what can we say about the Fischer Simul? I was not there. What are my regrets? I was away at school.
Oh, really?
I couldn't get a ride home to play in that event. However, the fellow who taught me chess, my best friend, my classmate, Frank Hacker, who taught me the game of chess. I wouldn't be involved in chess if it weren't for Frank Hacker. By the way, his folks, his father and mother, owned the House of Shoes. I don't know whether you ever knew about the House of Shoes, but people who lived in Fitchburg know about the House of Shoes. Well, anyways, Frank Hacker taught me the game. Frank Hacker's game against Bobby Fischer was the last game to finish at the Simul. It lasted probably like 4 hours, at least close to 4 hours. My friend Frank lasted at least 60 moves and then had to resign. There's an interesting story about this Simul, what's interesting is that before Fischer did the Simul, he presented a game to the participants of the Simul. He showed his game against Mikhail Botvinnik. Who is this Mikhail Botvinnik? Does that name ring a bell to you?
World champion.
He was a world champion. Right. He was world champion back actually in the late 40s through the 50s, up until Mikhail Tal defeated him in 1960. Anyways, he presented his game against Mikhail Botvinnik from the 1962 chess Olympiad in Varna, Bulgaria. He presented it on a demonstration board. He had pieces. You put pieces. You put it on a demonstration board. At the end of the exhibition, Fischer went back into the kitchen at the church. Said, "Okay, now I got my pieces." I said, "But where is the bag it came in? Where's the paper? It was a paper bag. He had put the pieces in." And everybody who was with the club said, "There's no paper bag here. Well, we'll get you another bag, Bobby." He said, "No. I've got to have that paper." It was a crumpled old bag that he came with. He insisted that they hunt around that whole church looking for that bag, that paper bag that the chess pieces came in. They couldn't find it, so he had to settle with whatever bag they gave him. But he had a conniption. I mean, he had a fit that they could not find that bag that he came in. So Fischer was a mercurial, a moody type of guy. A very sad story about Bobby Fischer. Now, I would advise anybody, our viewers out there who want to learn more about Bobby Fischer, just go online. Just Google Bobby Fischer or Robert James Fischer, whatever. You'll find other videos. You'll find a lot of information about Bobby Fischer. He had a tragic life. Again, his mother, actually, he didn't spend much time with his mother. I mean, he was brought up in Brooklyn, New York. His mother was very busy trying to make a living. So he spent a lot of time with his older sister, Joan, with whom he learned chess together. At the age of 6, she went out at a store in the neighborhood, came home with a plastic chess set. They sat down to try to figure out how to play this game, and he figured, he worked at it and became the #1 player in this country. And
in the world.
In the world, yes. He did become #1. I don't think, again, I don't know whether we'll ever see another American, a native-born American, win the World Chess Championship. But Fischer did it. You know, at the
right now.
Right now, we do have
Caruana is.
Yes, Fabiano Caruana. By the way, we can promote the next month, the next show we're doing. We're going to report to our chess chat viewers that we're going to report on the candidates tournament, which is going on right now in Berlin, Germany. We have 8 of the top players in the world who are contesting a double round robin tournament
Right.
to see who will be the challenger to world champion Magnus Carlsen
Right.
in a title match that will be held in London in November.
Right.
So that'll be an exciting.
And we have an American.
We have two Americans. Yeah, we have
a native-born American,
Yes, we do.
Caruana.
Fabiano Caruana.
He's tied for second right now.
That currently, I think they played round 3 today.
Right.
It's actually a total of what, 13 rounds?
14 rounds.
14, that's right. That's right. No, 15. Because,
No, 14.
No, 14.
14.
It's a double round robin.
Right.
So that should be exciting. We're going to report on that on our next chess chat.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that we are able to present our viewers an exciting game from that event.
Yeah.
But we have 3 Russians. We have 2 Americans, we have 3 Russians, and we have 1 player from Armenia, Levon Aronyan, who's a favorite. The Armenian is a
He's not
favorite.
doing well.
Not doing well right now.
lost today.
It's still early, but we have 1 Chinese player, Ding
Right.
Liren, and we have 1 player, the one from Azerbaijan,
Right.
Shahryar Mamedyarov. We did our last program
Right.
on
Yeah.
Shahryar Mamedyarov.
Yeah.
So, are you make your prediction, Dave? Who's going to win the candidates?
Kramnik is winning, so I'll predict that he's going to win the
So
whole
we
thing.
expect he's
in
a
first
former
place.
world champion.
Right.
Vladimir Kramnik.
The oldest one in the field.
He's the oldest. How old is he? Like 40,
41, I think.
40, early 40s. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Bobby Fischer said it years ago. Speaking of Bobby Fischer, you know, after the age of 35, it's all downhill in chess. Do
Yeah.
you believe that? Do you
No,
believe that
absolutely
what
not.
Fischer said? Fischer said after 35, it's you might as well give up the game. No, but his is a tragic story, the Bobby Fischer story. Again, we were blessed that he came and performed, made a special visit to Fitchburg and performed an exhibition that got wide coverage. In fact, the best coverage, according to the book that was done by international master John Donaldson. You know what exhibition got the best newspaper coverage of all his? He did the whole country, coast to
right.
coast. The Fitchburg Sentinel had the best coverage, according to John Donaldson, along with the Worcester Evening Gazette. They sent reporters. They covered that exhibition, and according to the author of the book on A Legend on the Road, the national tour of Bobby Fischer in 1964, they said the Fitchburg Sentinel did an outstanding job as far as the coverage and reporting on that event. So we're very fortunate to have that coverage,
Yeah.
and it's in the archives. I mean, people who want to read about that could go to the Fitchburg Public Library, look that up on microfilm from March. Actually, it was a few days after, maybe the day after. It was actually reported the day after, on March 3rd, 1964. Fitchburg Sentinel did an extensive story, along with the Worcester Evening Gazette, because they didn't want to be, scooped up by the Sentinel. Anyways, anything that you want to add about Bobby Fischer? I mean, you learned chess
Just
during
before.
that,
Yeah,
just before
just
Fischer, before the Fischer era.
The one thing I just read, which I thought was interesting, was new to me, is that he had the record for the biggest gap between the top-rated player and the second-rated player in the world ever.
Yeah. Yes.
He was 125 points higher than Spassky,
Right.
and no one since has ever been, there's never been that big a gap between the first player and the second player since that time.
A phenomenal player.
Yeah.
So Chess Chat fans, we hope to see you next time for another exciting episode of Chess Chat. We promise we're going to bring you a good game for you to enjoy and to learn from.
Yep.
See you next time.